Hi, my name is Thobekile. I'm a development worker with Progressio. I've been with Progressio for just under a year, and I'm placed with UDA-CISA, which is the umbrella body for Apostolic and Zionist churches in Zimbabwe. There's a lot of oppression of women within the faith, a lot of things that happen there, and against that backdrop, the question of what my prayer for women would be is that there would be greater participation of women in all facets of society, that there would be greater involvement of them in the decision-making process, not just amongst the apostolic people, but I think for women in general, different church groups. I think if there is a platform where women can be heard, I think my prayer would be answered within that. And I think in the development world, there's a lot of talk about women must be heard, women must be given a platform to speak. And some people can ask, well, why should they? I think the very fact that a large portion of the world's population is women means that they must be allowed to speak, because there's more of us than there is men, but also women must be heard because women groom humanity. I think there's no person in the world who can say that I came into the world and I didn't come in through a woman. So from the time a child is conceived, the time the child is carried in the womb, a child is born, they are in the custody of a woman. And a woman can shape the character of that child. So I think for that reason, they must be heard. They have something to say, and they have such a great responsibility because they deal with life and they bring life and groom humanity. They must be allowed to speak into the structures and the domains in society within which that humanity exists in. And in that process of speaking into it, I think that they must be allowed to play a key role. I'm even careful of the word allowed to, because there's still a certain level of oppression that comes when you're given permission. I think that shouldn't even come up. I think women should be involved in the decision-making process without needing to seek permission from any other person, because they're involved in every facet of society. Like I've said, they groom humanity, they have so much potential. As women, we have been given capacities, different capacities from men, but they are of equal value, they are of equal significance. And in the process of making decisions, we must be allowed to speak into how our communities look like. We must be allowed to speak into how our society looks like. We must speak into those areas because we have thoughts that are important and do shape our environment and our society. Particularly looking at the Christian faith, and what the Christian faith can do to make the world a better place for women. I'll speak in the context of the apostolic and Zionist people, but also I think Christians in general. I think if those who lead churches or those who influence the faith community, if the Bible can be used to build women, to build our self-esteem, to build us, so that we have a full understanding of who we are in God, and we have a full understanding that we have capacities, we have talents, we have gifts that are needed in society that God has given us. If the faith community can build within us that realization that we do represent the feminine side of God on earth, and when we speak, we have capacity and potential to speak the feminine voice of God, if that makes sense. So if the if the faith community can use the Bible to bring out the feminine voice of God into society, I think the faith community would have done well. They would have done a lot of good. But I think at the moment you find a lot of the time the Bible is used to oppress women, to say that we must be quiet, we must cover our heads, or that we are a byproduct of a man, or that we are in the society, or we were made to be a helper. And that word helper is used to say you only implement something that supports a man. But there's so much more. There's so much more that the faith community can release from women, so that women feel more comfortable in society.